Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Mr. Rob French here, aka your favorite Game Boy there. Oh, it looks like he sits in different chairs. That's pretty interesting. I didn't realize that. Still geeking out over this arcade. I can't get enough of it. I love it so much. Also, can't believe we're already pretty well into February. Hopefully, everybody's been enjoying the month so far. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. Please, as you're down there hitting those like, shares, and subscribes, leave me a little comment. Let me know what you guys are up to. Just a couple of words, man. Just a couple of little nuggets. If you got anything exciting going on, guys. Happy Black History Month. Like I said, we're down to February. It's a rip. It's the shortest month, man. They should change that at some point. I feel like that would be the biggest step of progression and change, right? Anyway, um, hopefully you guys, like I said, been enjoying February. I'm kind of over all of the snow and the weather that we've been having. East Coast has just been, I feel like, kind of stuck in this forever, um, excuse me, snowstorm here, or the forever remnants of this, this snowstorm, just with these super cold temper. Typically, we don't get this cold. I feel like um, in the winter, or at least not for very long. Like I feel like we get a few days here and there, but this last few weeks, it's been a pretty nice stretch of cold weather, and there just doesn't seem to be any um, any salvation from the ice in sight. Slowly but surely, it is melting away, but I mean slowly but surely. I'm not usually one of those who is, man, can we hurry up and get on with this, and can we get there, and can we do this? Um, but I do enjoy fall, and I do enjoy spring. And I will say that at this point, man, yeah, I am definitely ready for some spring weather. Just some cooler temperatures, like um, 50, 60s, but nice and sunny. A couple of afternoon showers, maybe an evening thunderstorm, windows open. Oh man, that's the ticket. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody blames the groundhog. I think that's everyone's like, if I see that groundhog, I'm gonna kick him in the. I don't think people realize it has nothing really like. I don't really think that's a thing. I don't really think that has anything when the weather patterns and the seasons were put together. I really don't. I don't think it has anything to do with the shadow. But it's a cute little tradition, and I do enjoy the movie. I love doing a Bill Murray marathon actually around this time. It's a great piece. Um, you're kind of coming out of the holidays, so it's a good time to revisit Scrooge. You can throw in some Ghostbusters too. That's got some holiday stuff in there, but do a nice little Ghostbuster run, and then do some Groundhog Day. What about Bob? But I love to do a nice solid Bill Murray marathon right after the first of the year. We've also got this week coming up Friday the 13th, which is I don't know. I like a good Friday the 13th. Um, there's always some good tattoo deals um, going on, which I don't know if I'll actually go and get anything done this time. It would be nice. I haven't gotten anything done in um, in a while, but typically I work on Friday, and I'm kind of needed. So I don't know. If I could find a way to maybe get some coverage, I might do it, but I'm not going to go um, out of my way to get out there. Um, Also, Saturday we have Valentine's Day. Hopefully, you guys have your Valentine. I was going to change, but I thought, oh, this is appropriate. I know I'm wearing the same thing I wore last week, but the red I felt was appropriate for Valentine's Day. That is something I'm not really excited for. Um, Not just because I'm single, but also because I've never really. like as I've gotten older, a lot of the traditions really boggle my mind, right? Um, but more or less they make sense, even if I don't like. It doesn't. Like I think I was just kind of like ragging on the holidays a little bit um, with these like forced dinners and these things that we do around the holidays and yada yada. But it's family, it's tradition, and all that. It makes sense dealing with the crowds and the all the things. It kind of it's part of it, the holiday madness, if you will. Um, but there's supposed to be this romantic aspect of like going out on Valentine's Day and whatever, but it becomes like such a cliche. And it's like a box of chocolates and the roses and the teddy bear, or you take the person out to dinner, or there's like a jewelry piece. But it's like you've only got a certain amount of like little nuggets to choose from on this holiday. And why I guess this is interesting, and I think this is the difference for me is Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, whatever you want to look at, Fourth of July, you're kind of sharing it as a collective group, right? It's like all about everybody kind of coming together, family, friends, all of that. But Valentine's Day, it's like that one holiday that's supposed to be about like you and that other person, right? And it's to me, it's like why? So to celebrate our love and to celebrate how much we care for each other, we're going to get dressed up. We're going to, which is I love getting dressed up. Don't get me wrong there. But then we're going to go out. We're going to fight traffic. We're going to fight the crowds. We're going to sit in a noisy, crowded restaurant. They're going to all have the same little, like, tacky, cutesy theme thing going on. Some queer little, like, special dessert. Like a tacky name for a special dinner or something, you know. And it's like it doesn't seem special. It's like I feel like a Valentine, it should be special. There should be something that, like yeah, go out for dinner, do something. But I don't know. I used to work in the restaurant business, and it was just crazy the amount of people just like, it's like I said, it just becomes so cliche. And I feel like in the excuse me, just had to clear my throat for a second there. I feel like in like in shows and film and stuff, like they highlight it and they make it seem special and cute and it's like intimate and all. But I think the reality of it, it's like you're struggling with parking, waiting for a table. It's noisy, it's loud. Every other couple is there. Um, so I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. One because I am single, but then two, it's just like it's a tough holiday. It's like if you are with somebody, you really I feel like in order to you have to be clever. You have to like really put some thought into it and really make it special. I feel like that just let's just go out for dinner, glass of champagne, chocolate strawberries. It's just like it's such a tacky, no thought, no originality. Just make them a dope mixtape. Let me sit there for a second with my T-shirt. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. It's funny. Um, there's this lady I work with, and I feel like she's always trying to set me up. It's freaking hilarious. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know, it is funny. Because she's like, I don't understand. You know. And she was asking about Valentine's Day and like what I got going on. I'm like, I'm telling you, I was like, I'm not going, I don't date, let alone like, I started laughing. I was like a Valentine's date. I was like, you're hilarious. Um, and she seems to have this idea that like I've got my choice, right? Like, I said, well, you just don't know who to take out, and like what stop? I'm like, no, it's like there's no. like ping, no. And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, there's just no ping there. Like there's no like." I was like who do I ask out? I was like, I wouldn't even know who to ask out. And she, she's always astounded at the fact of like, well, you're not talking to anybody. And I was like, no. I was like, I said, I come here, I work out. I was like, there's not like, I go do things and ladies are just like chomping at the bit and like, hey, what's up? And like looking at me or giving me the, I was like, it doesn't happen. I was like, there's like, I'm friendly and I talk to people, but there's not that like ping. And she was just kind of, okay, I guess I see what you're saying. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I said, then otherwise I'm just like picking people up or something. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I guess that's just not my speed. But I think it just came down to the fact that like, even if they are, let's say like ladies are interested, they just don't exude any of that, right? And so it's like, how do you, as a guy, pick up on that and then say, okay, well, I'm going to make the next move and go ahead and say, okay, hey, like, do you want to grab coffee? Do you want to do something? Do you want to do this? Um, because there's no like, I don't know, like I said, there's no just like look or like, hey, or like, it's just, it's interesting. Um, and because I am easy to talk to, like I am pretty like open to all sorts of things and like all kinds of conversations. Um, you think it would be very easy and almost like not forced. You know what I mean? Like it's not a, oh, I'm trying to pick you up thing, but we're just talking and hanging out. Um, but even in those like interactions of just like casual conversation, I mean, or maybe I'm just oblivious. Maybe I'm just like stupid, but I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty, like, I pick up on other signs and signals and other things, and I'm pretty good at, you know, reading when somebody's upset or happy or sad. I think I would pick up on like when somebody's like interested or something. Um, but it was just like I said, I don't know. It was a very funny conversation where it was like, yeah, I don't date really at all. Period. I was like, you're hilarious, and that's a lot of pressure. Oh my God. Like, I don't think people realize that either. Like, go from you don't do really any dating at all, right? Like, not even like any casual coffee or like, let's go hang out and do anything like that. And then Valentine's comes up and there's just like kind of like pressure, like, oh, you should like take somebody out and make that perfect, make that a good date. Are you insane? Has anybody ever told that story? I don't think that's ever been a story that's ever been told. Where did you guys meet? Oh, we met at so and so. Where was your first date? Oh, it was on Valentine's. No. Like when what was your first date? Oh, our first date was on Valentine's Day. I don't think I've ever heard that story. That sounds like it just would erupt in a ball of fire and smoke. So, yeah, I'm more looking forward to Friday the 13th than Valentine's Day. My idea of prep this week will be making sure there's Valentine candy in my candy dish at work, and then spending my free time watching all the Friday the 13th movies. In fact, I might even start that today. That might even be a thing I do today while I'm hanging out. That's actually good. I have some like video games. I try to get my video games in over the weekend. Um, I try to spend my mornings and evenings when I can reading either Stephen King or comic books. Um, I have movies and shows that I like to watch. Um, but one of my favorite things to do is to put on a movie, typically something I've seen before, something that I enjoy watching. But if I'm not really like paying attention, I'm not going to get upset. And then I'll like grab a comic book and read some comics while watching something kind of like in the background. So that might be the ticket. Throw on some Friday the 13th, grab some maybe some Stephen King or some comics and just kick back. Uh, I've also got like a lot of cool um, like behind the scenes special looks, special features, sorts of things with Friday the 13th. So it's definitely something you can make like a whole deal out of. I'm not going to have like a full, like a full day to sit back and just watch all those movies. So yeah, but yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to, like I said, Friday the 13th more than I'm looking forward to Valentine's Day. Oh, who knows though? Maybe this will be the year I get like a little secret card from a secret admirer. But probably not. It's a lot of work too. You know, I like think about that too. Like they're like, well, dude, you know, are you dating anybody? Are you seeing anybody? And it's like, yeah, I don't really know that I want to. It's a lot of. Even the ladies I work with can admit that like women can be a lot of. It's it. We can be a lot of work. We can be a lot of work. You know, my my cousin, I'm sure, his wife and his family's happy. But God, that man's butthole must be as tense and as tight. Always, huh? Yeah, what? Where? Huh? When? Who? Yeah, yeah, huh? What? Yes, uh huh, no, yep, here we go. Okay, maybe, no, yeah, huh? What? Every day, not a second. Because I can't even play 20 minutes of a video game. That's like how little of a window. That's how tight his butthole is. How little of a window he can't even squeeze in a game. Um, and it's just like I said, it's a lot of work, man. If you want to do it right, if you're going to do a good job at it, um, then you gotta make sure you do it. You got to do it right. Or you find that same person is looking for some of the same things. And amazingly, in a world full of so many people, it is crazy how difficult that can be from time to time. Um, but yes, it could just be a lot to put up with. And sometimes it's like you get to used to being alone, and again that makes it even more difficult. It's like you're not used to sharing that space and that time. It's kind of like, well, yeah, like I want to share space and time when we do, but then when we don't, I don't. It's like it's kind of tough. Um, Almost like somebody's like, oh, they hand you a baby, and you're like, oh, I love this baby, I want this baby, and then the baby starts crying, and you're like, somebody take this baby. You just want to put it down and walk away from it. And sometimes I feel like that's a similar or shared kind of mentality I have with relationships where it's just like, okay, yeah, this is great, this is awesome, like hanging out, fooling around and all of that, watching TV together and going to the sharing fun experience. But then it's just like, it might get too heavy, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's be on. Can we go back to just having fun, please? uh, so it is something sometimes too that I struggle with, where it's like, do I even really want to have to deal with all that? Because then again, like that's where you're back into that. Okay, you know, um, go out a few times, everything works out well, it's going great. Now Christmas is back in the picture, and we're spending um, the day running around and um, going crazy trying to see everybody in one day. And by the time I get home, it's 10:30 at night. I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. There's crap everywhere, and I got to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning to run back to the office. It's just like, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that. So I don't know. It's interesting finding everything in that complete that complete um, balance. Uh, and then I don't know, sometimes too, like I can't. Oh my God, I dealt with a lady yesterday at work, and it's like one of those things. Like I'm not. It's like I don't deal with um, like the sometimes like the emotional breakdowns and the um, because it's I don't want to start a whole thing, but it's kind of like emotion weighs in a lot of times over logic. And not to say that men are more logical. I think men are kind of like we're idiots. It's definitely not logic that leads us, but it's most often not emotion either. And I think women definitely lead through like emotion. I mean, like they're nurturers. They're care. It's like it's all emotion. It's all based in being a mother and being a caregiver. So it's not a negative thing when I mention this either. Um, but I think sometimes it allows people to get like worked up and things to happen. And this woman got really upset. She got kind of like just wound up thinking. Well, no, she thought I guess somebody was like taking video with their phone, but really they were just having like a phone conversation. And I don't know. She complained once about it. And I was like, this guy was on his phone and yada yada. And I didn't understand at first because everybody seems to have this idea like you're not allowed to be on your phone in the building. It's like, no, you just can't be on your phone like in the restrooms and like taking video or taking pictures or anything like that. Like you're allowed to be on your phone. Is crazy. I've had like two or three people come up to me and be like, are people allowed to be on their phones? And I'm like, what do you mean? Are they taking videos or something? And it's like, yeah, no, they're just taking a phone call or like texting um, their wife or something. And people are like, we've had people telling them like they can't be on their phones that don't even work there. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Um, no, it's all the time, like all the time. Um, but this one lady, she was certain this guy was taking photos, and then she was talking about like how the girls were dressed. And so then I couldn't figure out if she was upset because the guy was on his phone, or if because it was like how the girls were dressed. I was like trying to like get her to calm down just so I could like try to figure out exactly what like her problem was. Um, and so then when I found out like he wasn't really on his phone taking pictures, like she couldn't tell. I was like, well, then I was like, was he being loud or anything? And she said no. And so I was like, all right, well, let me go back there and see what's going on. At that point, I was just like, and I couldn't figure it out because like every time I would try to talk, she would talk over me. And um, I told her at one point, I was like, well, I want to fix this, but I have to like be able to talk to you. Like I have to be able to like, give you a solution or whatever. So anyway, she found up like kind of like let me explain how we don't police cell phones. But then I went back there to check, and she started freaking out even more because it was like, well, I don't want to get involved. hmm I don't want to get involved. And I was like, I mean, you're just exactly what you're doing. You're coming back here and complaining. So anyway, I went to go look. I couldn't even find anybody on their cell phone. And then finally I saw who it was. And it's a doctor. And he was off on the side, like on the very far, like he wasn't even near anybody. And he wasn't being loud. Um, but most likely it was probably something important. Like it probably wasn't just like it was probably had something to do with like I said, he's a doctor. I think he's like a donor for, I don't know. Anyway, um, so I went to go explain that, and that only caused her to get more upset because then he was a doctor, and then she thought I was trying to explain that like because he's a doctor, he's allowed to do what he wants. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no! Like I'm just trying to let you know, like he's probably like having an important phone conversation is probably an important piece. And anyway, I don't know. She wound up getting upset and then calling me a nitpicker and um, and stormed off. But yeah, it was crazy. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to deal. I don't know if I want to deal with that on a day-to-day basis. And I'm sure whoever she's married to, that didn't start off that way. But it's just like I said, it just got in her head that he was taking pictures. And I went back there. Didn't even like I said. It didn't even. I had to look really hard because I expected to see somebody on their phone being loud or being weird or doing something, standing somewhere awkwardly. And he was just minding his business, having a very quiet conversation away from everybody else. Like even in a room with other people in there, like he was off to the side and kind of like out of the way. It was nuts. But at any rate, um, like I said, go ahead and smash all those icons for me. Leave me some comments down below. Hope you guys have a scary Friday the 13th. Have a happy Valentine's Day. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Down, 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 out, down, out, down, down. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Da, 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 down.